Good morning, this is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. And I assure you that because of the victory of Jesus and because of the truth that He reigns in this world, there really is hope for today. I want to talk to you about what it means to pursue each and every day of your life and the perspective with which you pursue your life from a posture of victory as opposed to a posture of defeat. I want to encourage you that because of the good news of the gospel, it means that you have the power and the right to posture your heart from a place of victory as opposed to defeat. We are going through unbelievably difficult times right now in our country and in our lives. Pandemic, 40 million folks out of work, an uncertain future, questions as to whether or not even the very landscape of how this nation works will change, and it has struck our hearts with fear. We are perplexed, and those realities are true and sure. But I've come to tell you today that the reality and the truth of who Jesus is, what He has done, and what He shall do in the earth far outweighs the uncertainties of our time, and it's that alone that gives us reason and courage and hope from which to posture ourselves from a place of victory as opposed to defeat. Ricky, just file it down into one thing. What are you ultimately trying to say to me today as I get ready to start my day? Here it is. We will win. That's it. We will win. We're going through all kinds of stuff now, but I would lose it had I not read this book that talks about all sorts of crazy and difficult circumstances they went through, and God brought them out, and God even used it to make His name famous. God, Hebrews 13, has not changed. So I just want to remind you that at the end of the day, we will win. So Philippians chapter 2, verse 10 says, so that at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. This is Paul basically telling the church, it may look tough now, but we win later. And that through every epic moment in history, Jesus has prevailed. He will do so in this moment as well. We may have a few cuts and scrapes, but we'll be standing. We may have to go through a few more ups and downs, but we will emerge victoriously. So you can move forward in whatever you're facing today, knowing that at the end of it all, we will win because of our faith in Jesus Christ. When we were kids, we had to read a lot, and we would have to read literally 5 books a week. Children's books, so you could pull that off. But we would read all the time voraciously. And, you know, little Johnny would be going through this adventure and would have this kind of calamity happen to him. And as a 10-year-old reading this book, you're like, oh no, I hope Johnny's going to make it. And what we ended up doing was making a habit that when the hero of our story was in trouble, we'd flip to the end of the book. We'd flip to the end, and we'd make sure that we saw those comforting words, and he lived happily ever after. And because we looked at what happens in the end, we had the right wherewithal and posture from which to go back to the middle of the story. And it didn't matter what happened to Johnny, whether it was a big bad wolf or a cyclone or an evil robot, didn't matter, because we were able to better grapple with the adventures and the ups and downs and the uncertainties that Johnny was facing, because we had peeked over to the end of the story, and we know that he would live happily ever after. Folks, God has given us a book that we get to peek to the end of the story. And the end of the story says we live happily ever after. So approach the uncertainties of today with the certainties of tomorrow. We will win. That's hope for today. I'll see you next time.